This is Curt Frantz reporting for Infowars at Infowars.com and Prison Planet at PrisonPlanet.com. We are in an information war, but we have yet to weaponize the most potent information available in that war. The enemies of we the people, of freedom, of this country, of humankind, are the globalists, the ruling elites, the deep state, and their propaganda arm that is the mainstream media, news, entertainment, social, and sadly, millions of people who accept what the elitist and the media says, accept that as true and popular, and then they promote or parrot it with the intention of being liked and respected. This set of people, all of them, the elitists, the media, the disillusioned, the millions, they all are non-rational. So information provided to them has little opportunity to persuade. Their non-rationality is rooted in psychological neediness, which itself grows from low self-esteem, how they think about themselves, and low self-love, how they feel about themselves. This set of people are shame-based. They seek to control others, have power over others, because they lack a sense of control and power in their own lives. They are angry, sad, intolerant, and they are these things because that's how they are towards themselves, their own inner state. So let me give an example. Let's say you were with a pedophile and you were trying to provide information to convince this person to stop molesting children. You can have all kinds of studies and stories from people, individual stories from people. For people who I know as a child been molested just a single time, and show how it has negatively impacted them their entire lives. They may have trouble with their sexuality, with being intimate with others, the relationship they have with themselves, all of them negatively impacted, potentially deeply scarred from just a single incident of being molested as a child. And you present that to the pedophile, there's zero chance of them thinking, well, you know, I didn't realize all of that. You know, now that I have that information, I'm not going to molest children anymore. There's zero chance of that happening. It's not a lack of information that leads them to do what they do. It's an internal state that they have. And the information that can stop them from doing that is the fear. This is their most animating emotion, is fear. And it's the fear of being found out. And that's the information that's potent to use in the information war. So a person who is a pedophile, others are not, if they know about that, if they find out about that, they learn of his shame, they don't want nothing to do with him. Even other pedophiles won't, because, hey, if I hang with that guy and he's been exposed, I'm likely to be exposed. So the guy becomes a pariah. Nobody wants anything to do with him, and he's now become neutered in terms of being able to hurt others. I mean, the ideal for him is he grows a sense of self, and he starts to care about others and respect others, and sees them as the center of their own universe, not as playthings in his. But we don't have to put a dependency on that to stop the horror that happens. The first thing is do no pain, do no wrong, do no harm. So we can stop them that way. Now move that into the political arena, that concept. And let's think about Hillary Clinton. She's been in public life for decades. And it's not possible for a person who's objective and engaged to see Hillary as potentially a good president for the United States. That's not possible. There's too much information that shows she's incapable, she's incompetent, and she's crooked, right? She's had so many scandals that she's been criminal in many ways. There's no way an objective person can see that as good for the country. Yet, tens of millions of people voted her to be President of the United States. Now think of her as an individual. Think of her characteristics. She takes disagreements as personal affronts and seeks revenge. She's prone to rapid and sudden anger. She's rigid. She's delusional, blind to unpleasant realities. She's unable to accept criticism. She's secretive. She exaggerates and pretends. She's arrogant and boastful. She denies mistakes and blames others. She performs poorly in pressure situations. She projects her own inadequacies and motives onto others. She sees others as impotent victims and members of victim groups. She lacks self-discipline. She's closed-minded. She seeks control and power over others. She's outwardly aggressive. And she discards people when they become a personal liability. These are traits of a person with a low sense of self, extremely low sense of self. And if Hillary is exposed that way, just as if the pedophile is exposed as a pedophile, people want nothing to do with her. It's like, I don't want to be associated with somebody who's a low sense of self, because guess what? That's the thing that I dread most, is myself being found out as a low sense of selfer. So I don't want to be associated with that. So what we do in the information war is, for people who are in public, who have the possibility, the potential of shaping the public discourse, public positions, be they in politics, in the media, executives in corporations, and they direct a corporation in some socially conscious way, that any information about them, once they come out making these public moves in some places, all information is fair game. You know, it was those folks who put that rule in. It's like, no, the private life, personal life, you got to keep that aside. No, you don't keep that aside. That stuff's important. I mean, if you knew that a person was a wife beater, Harvey Weinstein, or an assaulter of women, or a rapist, or Bill Clinton, or a pedophile, you want them guys out. You don't want to let them skate with that stuff. So that personal information is important to get, and it's not just those big ticket items. If you find a person has this set of traits like Hillary does, they're secretive, they blame others, they take credit for when it's not theirs to take, on and on, you identify them as a low sense of self-worth. That's not who you want making in position of influence in the country. So you expose them as that. And then people who might have wanted to project themselves onto them and see them as a role model, as a hero, they don't want to be associated with somebody who, what they fear being found out as. And, you know, showing the private information, of personal information, and of people who lack that sense of self. Look, if you can't stand that heat, you don't go in the kitchen. If a person is comfortable with that, if they have the comfort and confidence that, hey, yeah, all right, I've got dirty laundry, everybody's got dirty laundry, but that's all right if it gets exposed. I can talk about it, explain it, and show where I'm at, how I overcame something, or if I'm still struggling with it. That's a strong sense of self set of traits. They're open, they're honest, and they're unafraid of this stuff. So that's the type of guy we want in positions of influence in the country. So yes, let's turn up the heat and expose the private life. Because one thing that's not recognized widely, and this is why the information work can go off the track a little bit, is ideology is driven by psychology. And if you focus on the ideology and you just, here's this data, and you maybe ought to change and look at history, when this was done in the past, this was the results and stuff, none of that matters if a person's being driven by their psychology. If this is driving that, you got to focus on what the this is. And the this comes out of the personal life. So a person's parents, a person's early childhood, their siblings, their friends throughout their life from early on, all of that stuff is important to find out about, to learn about who this guy is, who's trying to influence the country, the direction of the country, the direction of society. There's where the potent, the most lethal information is for the information war. And it's not lethal in the sense that people die, but it's lethal in the sense that it does kill this approach, this unhealthy attitudes that are and directions that are brought by people who themselves are unhealthy. It stops that in its tracks. This is Curt Frantz reporting for Infowars at Infowars.com and Prison Planet at PrisonPlanet.com.